service to humanity. I want to talk about that today. I know sometimes I do all type of videos. Some silly, some minutes, some serious, others I'm passionate. It's levels to me, and it's cool. I embrace them all with a big hug, a big bear hug. But today we're going to talk about service to humanity. And this is just my message. If it resonates with you, cool. If it don't, that's cool. I'm not going to get mad about it because everybody doesn't speak the same language even when they do, and that's okay because that's a part of humanity. Ultimately, when you service humanity, you service the planet because the planet's got itself. Even if it has to shut us down at any means necessary, whatever it has to do, whatever adjustment it has to do to get what it needs, that's what the planet's going to do. But we help it when we are doing our best here, rising our vibrations, helping one another, loving one another, because love is the big key component. And I think at this point we need to acknowledge the problem is a huge breakdown in communication, or the lack of the desire to communicate. Some people just want to believe what they believe, and it doesn't matter. A legion of people could come and tell them something different, but they're hell-bent that they know, and the legion is crazy, and that's cool. I don't know if you guys know this, but stress is the number one killer. If not, it's up close to it, okay? I didn't check the 2020 deets on that, but it's close to it. So when you send your body under stress and it releases the cortisol, and it's just constantly doing this for no reason, that's not good for your health. I feel like when you get yourself all worked up about something, you have no thought of follow through, what to do next, how to solve this problem, how to contribute to it now that I'm outraged about it. I feel like you're putting yourself under unnecessary stress. I feel like you're putting unnecessary energy out there in the planet. And not because I'm the tyrant of what the fuck to do in life. It's not that. I'm not the teacher or leader of that. I mean, I give my perspective, and people agree, they agree. They don't. But I definitely not saying it's Bible. I'm just telling you how I think and how I feel, how I see things. And so you got people that put stuff out here on the internet. They're outraged about it. It's almost to the point where you could swear that they want Inspector Gadget to find something to be upset about. And in as much as that is kind of in a way, I'm sure it has its place somewhere in the universe because everything has its place, but on a surface level, on a natural level, I really don't see it contributing to anything because we need to be vibrating high. We need to be as positive as possible, even in any situation you go through. Now, I would tell you, we tend to think things are black and white, and that's not true. And to those who disagree, that's fine. We think this is right and this is wrong. Left, right, north, south. That's good when you need a general compass or you need directions to get around, but life is just not that simple. Now, of course, I feel that if you are raping, molesting, and abusing children, if you're abusing your spouse, sexually abusing them, understand where I'm coming from. I'm not advocating for domestic violence. What I'm trying to say is everything has a lesson in it, but certain things are unnecessary as well. You don't have to look at things like, this happened to me, you needed to be abused, and no, but you can look at it like once you get yourself in a place, because that's hard. It's hard to get past trauma, especially certain traumas are probably more difficult than others. In all situations, let's just talk about normal things, because all that abuse and messing with kids and murder, none of that stuff am I ever going to give a pass to. Self-defense gets a pass. But right out murder for no reason, you just don't like this person, or you feel like you married this person, and if you divorce them, they're going to take half, and you're just going to take them out. That's not okay. It might be a thought. It might be a thought that you snicker at. And even that, you got to be careful with putting energy out there, because you might fly over the cuckoo's nest and be stuck in that void forever. You might flip over it, flip back, and take a seat in it. And that's not something we want you to do. We want everybody to be mentally sound and sane. It helps the collective. It really does. What I'm trying to say is this. If you're not going to do something about a situation, then why get upset about it? Why sit up and get worked up, stress yourself out, and create this unhealthy inner environment for yourself because you just want to seem like, or you want people to think that you give a damn. You know what, to be honest with you, it's people that see shit and don't get triggered, and it's not because they're inhumane. It's not because they just don't give a damn. It's just because that's how they operate, and that's not the issue. I don't think how anybody responds to, like, how they perceives and receives things is an issue. I think the issue is, depending on what the response is, that they fail to see growth from it, and some things just are what they are. Or when you heard a call, you observe something going on and you really don't get it. So because of the climate, I'm gonna use this for an example. It's some racism going on. It's somebody being racist. And as a Caucasian person, you see this going on in social media, on the news, and somehow you begin to take it personal of what they're saying about the racist instead of the victim. Now, at that very moment, it's okay personally, as long as you keep it to yourself, how you're feeling, because we can't control and dictate people's emotions, how they perceive things and process them. But we can have something to say about the response thereafter, so the follow through or the reaction. Don't add to the problem. Why get on the internet and start saying racial slurs or making fun or wishing ill or hate on the black race? Just try to figure out, why is it that this made me feel a type of way? Okay, that's cool. Now let's explore why this made me feel this type of way. And what reason do I really have, based on what facts validate these feelings? And when you begin to do that, then you're on to something. My point is this: you added to the problem by getting on the internet and talking trash instead of self-reflecting, looking at the situation, even though you weren't a participant, but looking at it and saying, what can I learn from this and how can I grow further? And a lot of this stuff is miscommunication or ignorance. It's just ignorance. So you don't know what's going on. You don't know why. You're not really sure. It's something you've been conditioned to do, so you think it's right. Just like people have been conditioned in their religions. That's why people think they're superior. Their religion is superior than the other one, without realizing that just belief in God is belief in God. I don't care what you call it, what you recognize that. God ain't never came down and told you that your religion was right and everybody else was wrong. And if you admit to that, you're just lying. You're lying to everybody and yourself. And yourself is the worst part, because that's a whole different beast when you're sitting up lying to yourself. So in that case, you would just say nothing. You have your feelings. You're trying to get to the bottom of why you resonated with the racist instead of the victim. So you just sit there and be quiet. When the action off the perception might be perceived as inappropriate, the best thing you can do is stand still and be quiet. Because I'm going to tell you something. We don't need anything adding to the problem. I'm using race relations because it's kind of easy to use it, and that's the climate of today, to kind of get my point across. So we see the victim, we're watching this person that looks just like us, we see ourselves in them, and we take this act that has been carried out against them personally. Then we get outraged. You're not an influencer, you're not trying to do journalism, you're just an average everyday Joe, which is nothing wrong with that, because everybody had their lanes. Believe me when I tell you, there's nothing wrong with the person that works at the gas station, the person that works at the bank, the person that works at fast food. Everybody has a role. We need these jobs filled. And we're human. All of this shit is an illusion anyway. Why are we sitting up walking around with our nose up? How can you believe it? What a low life. I mean, who would work at Walmart? I wouldn't work at Walmart because my patience. I don't have the patience for that. Whoever works at Walmart and they're happy, big ups to them. I wouldn't work at McDonald's because I'm not about to do that. You're not going to have my nerves working on 1,000, going home every day. I'm not doing that, especially if I'm not in management. I did manage a restaurant, but anyway, I'm just illustrating. I don't want to get off the beaten trail. Everybody has a part to play, but my thing is this: when it comes to expressing your part, if it's not helpful, it's a hindrance. It's really what I'm getting to. That's the short of the long. The best thing to do is just hold up, stand still, and stay in peace, and figure out you. The more work you do, you're going to have the people that are in the street and they're protesting, right? You're going to have the people that pound the pavement trying to get paperwork to who it needs to go to. You're going to have people sending emails. You're going to have people doing all kinds of things. They may illustrate, they might be an influencer with music. So they send their music, their message through music, and music has its own vibration to it. So like I was saying earlier in my interview with the young man at Nature Boy DJD, like I was telling him, sometimes the words in the music doesn't matter if you don't understand them. If that beat and the combination of the instruments or whatever's going on in that song to create that melody, If it resonates with you, then that's all that matters. Music has its own language on top of the language, if that makes sense. So you might have someone out there, they've got their music going and they're sending a message that way. You might have somebody who's sending a message through the sport that they play. To make it a simple term, but in an unconventional way, it's different ways that we minister in life. And everything is not the same. Everybody got a role. It's somebody that's got to be at CVS in the morning because it's going to be a customer that comes across them. And their interaction with that person, it had to be that very person, made their day different. It changed their life forever. Just an encounter they had with the CVS clerk. You got to understand that it's a position for everybody. But what I am saying is this. If you just mind your business, don't add to the problem. Don't add to the problem. Because you don't have to be the one that's pounding the pavement. You don't have to be the one that's protesting. You don't have to be anything. But what you do need to do is when you don't find yourself fitting in all of those places, you still have a place. Your place is to work on you. Because the more you work on you and the more you reflect on what can I take for this situation? Because we're talking about people who are living. So people whose lives were taken, that's one of them black or white situations where it's finito. There's nothing that they can necessarily on the natural plane as a human in the human flesh can gather from that. Now what they carry on spiritually is a different story and a different subject. But if you're living and breathing, you should be looking at your situations. Sometimes you got to push. I'm not saying don't acknowledge it. I'm not saying don't have your feelings about it or nothing. I'm saying sometimes all of this feelings, hurt, trauma, you got to kind of push it to the side and then look at things objectively. Even if you have to kind of, so to speak, metaphorically, take yourself out of your body and observe this situation as a third party to what's going on, this horrific act that's going on between these two people. What can be learned by this? If we're always, it's your fault, but it's your fault, but it's your fault, but it's your fault, but it's, if we're always doing that, then that means that we're not learning. When you're trying to shift blame on somebody, you're not trying to understand how it can be better or how this can be transformed into a better situation. You're shifting blame because you're putting your hands up and you don't want to deal with it. And we got to stop putting our hands up. Don't feel guilty about how you feel about things. Why does this person seem to be in tears, just shaking and shivering over the situation, and you're sitting here just calm and peaceful? Don't feel guilty. And I would say the person that's over there losing it, which that's appropriate because that's how you feel, don't guilt the person that doesn't react like you do. We're all different and you don't know what's going on in that person's mind. Some people aren't always emotional. Not to suggest that emotions are bad, because that has its place. Everything has its place. And not to say that emotional people are bad. Now, I will tell you, if you let your emotions get out of hand and you're one that always lets emotions take the driver's seat, you can become a very dangerous person subjectively. You can become very dangerous. You have to toggle in between emotion. If you're one of these people that are emotional, you want to be toggling between emotions and logic. You want to ride that boy like it's a stick. And I don't drive a stick, but I understand the concept. You're pulling up to a light. That car will move when you're driving a stick. You got to work that boy to keep it kind of at that light so you don't hit nobody or just be in a damn way. You got to know what you're doing. So you want to use emotions and logic like that. You want to drive them in your life like a stick, metaphorically. We got to be doing the self-work. There is much gratification. If somebody dumped all the money in your lap that you could ever have, or let's not even bring it to money, because money is the means. It's an energy, it's a vibration to another thing. But if you were able to do whatever you want, anything, anywhere you could go, anything you could do, any person you could be, your lifestyle, anything you could think of, you could just have it right now. Once you get done gloating and floating in that, then there's other things that's going to be needed to sustain your happiness, because that's a temporary happiness. That's a temporary time that you will feel fulfillment and happy from this situation. But the true happiness, the happiness that keeps you going, that fills your heart, that gives you that warm, bubbly feeling, is your service to others and making somebody's life a little bit different. Can't you think of a time that you did something for someone, and it doesn't have to be extra crazy? I mean, depending on who it is and the energy it's coming from and the timing, somebody might appreciate a meal over $5,000. I'm saying that it's possible. I'm gonna tell you about me though. Them 5 stacks gonna do me justice, because that meal I can go ahead and buy. Matter of fact, if I'm in the mode that I can't get it, I don't even have to have no car. I can go ahead and I can afford Uber Eats at this point with just $5,000. And I'm not saying you balling, but I'm saying if you don't have $5,000 and somebody drops 5 racks in your lap that you weren't asking for, someone just happens to want, you know what? That's a cool individual. I'm going to just go ahead and bless them with 5 stacks. I mean, think about it. A lot of people was acting damn fool over that stimulus check. That wasn't but $1,200. Unless you got a spouse that you married to, then you got kids. That stuff add up. Y'all felt like it was the next coming of tax time in 1 year. Like Jesus returned or something. The next coming of tax time. Ain't that something? We got to stop always minimizing things and looking over things because it doesn't come across how we think it should. There's so many things at play here in this life. So many different people, so many energies. But one thing's for sure, if we can get on one accord, and it'll never be perfect, because if we reach perfection, let's say perfection how you know it to be, right? Everything. There's no issues. Everything's in sync. Everything's just, if we reach that, then we have reached the cap. We're capped out. There's no point of life because we've learned it all. We've got everything. The whole race of human has evolved to the point where there is no learning to be done. So I don't think that will ever happen. I think there's always going to be some learning. So we got to respect people where they at. I deal with this. This is a challenge for me too. Because, sometimes you be like, I just don't understand why so-and-so keeps going through that crazy. Like, I don't understand. Who would deal with that? I mean, did you see that? I mean, what kind of message? We all do it. You got to keep it real and be honest. I'm not perfect, baby. It's sometimes I be looking at people like, what is this shit about? It's all right. I'm just going ahead and keep it real with you. Because what I got to lose? I believe that whole cancel culture thing, too, is kind of very judgmental. Don't get it twisted. If there's somebody out there that's openly displaying hate towards other humans and thinks it's okay to harm other people and stuff like that, and they have a business, I think it's okay not to support them 100%. But what I'm saying, cancel culture when it comes to people and their opinions and ignorance. Some people just ignorant. And you got to learn the difference. You have to learn the difference. And that might take a little practice too. We going to get there. We here to do the work. I say this all the time. And we all learning, man. We're all learning. There's a lot of stuff going on here in 2020. And there's a lot of stuff that I appreciate. And I'm hoping that everybody has taken something from this time just as much as I have. We need to hold one another up a little bit more. We need to begin to be more forgiving. We need to realize how much this corona situation, which in as much as it's manifested in itself in the loss of lives. So it's real in that sense. People have died. People have suffered, gotten sick. But it has served other purposes, and it falls into that category of there's different realities going on at one time. Nothing is one way. Corona doesn't serve one purpose. It didn't just come here. I guess let me get detailed and explain what I'm saying, because people are, huh? What? Coronavirus doesn't just come here to kill, steal, and destroy like it's Satan. Your perception of Satan, it came serving many things. I hope y'all made it this far into this conversation. I really do, because we're just so quick to be bored with things. You got so much stuff that's out there that's outrageous. And it's got its place too. I like some outrageous stuff too, but sometimes it's hard to listen to someone that's just really talking about some stuff that's something to talk about and not fooling around. It's loud. Here we go. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to get off the beaten trail for 1 second. Please allow me this. See what I'm talking about? I ain't heard no sirens all day. But I got out here. It's sounding like they are shooting a Detroit undercover, a cops edition, emergency 911 in Detroit. That's what it sounded like right now. I think they should go and help whoever they need to help. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's just interesting that a damn coyote would appear in front of me while I'm doing the video. Now, at that point, I'm getting the hell on. At that point, I'm booking it. We can resume another day. Because one thing I'm not about to do is play with a coyote. I'm not going to do that. I don't know nothing about no coyote. It might look similar to a dog. It might have dog features, but I know I'm not about to put it on a leash and walk it. So for that very reason, I'm going to get the hell on. You know what I'm saying? I illustrated my thoughts in a very dramatic way, only to say that it gets cracking around here with this camera on, baby. We look at people in silence and we feel like they're not making a change. But if they're doing self-work, they're making a change. Because the more understanding, the more evolving, the more love and peace a person has in his heart, the more they can contribute to the planet. They can contribute more to humanity, which ultimately contributes to the planet. Because the planet's going to do its thing. I've already said that. As I've been doing these interviews lately, it's really amazing. My brothers from Nigeria, they're such good-spirited. That energy. And don't mistake that I'm saying that they're immature. That's not what I'm saying. But they have a childlike. You know how children are full of joy. They don't really know the ills of the world yet, because they don't understand. And I say ills because that's the easiest way for everybody to understand it. For the most part, you've got kids that's been through trauma since they got here, and that's unfortunate. It really is. My heart goes out to them. But for the kids that their parents are really holding and bridging the gap, and even the ones that try, mind you, I'm not shooting nobody's parenthood down, because you can really be doing the best you can and something still falls through the crack, because there's one other factor that you cannot control. You're not the only one on this planet, and we're not with our kids all the time, whether they're going to school or whatever they're doing. They're going to daddy's house, mommy's house, or they're in a two-parent household, but they went to somebody else's house. Whoever they went to, wherever they went to, you wasn't present. It was an opportunity for somebody to get to your child and change your life for the rest of their life in one instant. But we're talking about the child that don't know nothing about this. And they're just bubbly, and they're just full of life, and they just have this energy. That's why people love babies, because that energy. And that's why the Satanists, they sacrifice kids, because they get a high and a rush off that energy. They have a vampire nature. So they take it from the kids. Yeah, we getting deep. I'm sorry. Let me roll it back. But my brothers in Nigeria, they've got a different spirit. They're all talking about love and peace and understanding and harmony and so many words. That's what they're talking. That's their message. That's their vibration. And we over here like, oh, did that alarm just go off? Man. I mean, I could hit it a couple more times, but ultimately, I'm going to have to get up and deal with this bullshit I'm facing. And that's how we are. But they like, I'm happy to be alive. I love my brothers and sisters. You guys are beautiful. You beautiful queens. You beautiful kings. Keep doing what you're doing. Let's love one another. You are my brother. You are my sister. Let's help. I mean, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Something about that today touched me. And yesterday, it touched me. And even with my first interview with the author, Bond Grounded, it's a difference. That respect, that love, it's amazing. They're amazing. That's what we need. That's what we need. And the more we can do work on us and get there, how can you be mad? We need to become childlike. We need to operate as if we are children and innocent. We need to see one another as just another human, just getting the human experience. This is just another person, another spirit wrapped up in flesh, getting a human experience just like I am. We're going to laugh together. We're going to cry together. We might fight. We might cuss each other out. But in the end, we're going to hug it out and we're going to keep it moving. It's okay. You ain't going to like a person all the time. You're like, damn, I'm so sick of you. And why your eyebrows all bushy and not combed out today? You can't rub them, straighten them. I'm sick of you. That's all right. That's okay. It's okay. But don't stay there, though. That's all I'm saying. Tackle that. Logic, emotion, logic. Is it logical to be mad at somebody for 3 days because they didn't fix their own eyebrows? You see what I'm saying? You see how outrageous that is? So you gotta know balance. And that's what we're working to. We'll never have it figured out all the way. But we can do better than this. We can be closer to balance. We can vibrate higher. I don't understand. I know I've been bringing this up lately, but it's the easiest example to illustrate what I'm talking about. I just don't understand people that get on the internet and attack people that they don't know. Because I want to know, what did you want to gather from that situation? So let me tell you my interpretation of that. You were angry and you want to feel somebody else feel like you do. So you are a vampire. You are an emotional vampire of anger. You like to fester it. You like to fester in it. You like to draw. You draw from it. You're like this. Anger. 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 That's you. That's what you do. No. That's too much, because as much as you do to get it and as much as you need to keep it, kind of like that's your drug of choice, you ain't trying to detox from it. You just need more and more anger. That's draining too. You're draining just as quick as it's non-productive. When you can simply just turn on some music that you like, begin to get into it, change your whole headspace, change your whole mood. That's why people talk about it's a vibe. You're right, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Get in that vibe. Get in that vibe. Even when you're angry, you don't know what the hell you were. You're just mad. You're mad as hell. You woke up, baby, I just want to slap somebody. The first person I see, they better not give me a reason. I'm going to smack the shit out of them. Turn on that song. Turn on that song. Hey, get in that vibe. Get in that vibe. Get it. Get it. That's what we need to do. Well, I hope I didn't talk in too many circles. I've said a lot of this matter. I just want to thank y'all for listening and supporting. Please share this message. I need you to like this message, and I need you to drop a comment, because I think this is something that people would like to hear. I think it has a positive message, and it will start a conversation. And if you think so too, please like it and share it so it can be pushed up in the algorithm. I appreciate y'all. Love and light.